The early voting continues here in Texas for the March 3rd primary. Through Friday, you can get out and vote. Now, there are a lot of people who have not voted yet. So you've got this week to get out and vote. And then, of course, you've got March 3rd to vote. And in studio with us right now, a candidate for the 140th District Court in the Republican primary. It's Tom Brummett. Welcome back.
Good to see you again.
Yeah, glad to have you back here in studio. How things been going? How's the campaign been going?
It's interesting. I mean, I think I told you the last time I was here, this is the first time I've run for public office. There's a lot of things in life that people can tell you about, but until you experience them for yourself, you have no idea, and I think this is one of them.
Yeah. So, okay, real quick, tell folks just a little bit about the resume that you're running on.
140th District Court is a criminal court, handles felony criminal cases. I have been a prosecutor and assistant DA here in Lubbock for the past 17 years, practiced in every criminal court in the courthouse, including the 140th. I understand what it takes to fight crime in this community, and that's what I've been doing my entire professional career.
What, we talked about this during the break. There are so many people running for this and also for the 99th. And I think there are a lot of voters out there who are still getting people confused and names confused and who's running for what. When you take a look at your race specifically, what sets you apart from the others running for the 140th District Court?
Well, as I was telling you, I had a conversation with a woman on my cell phone driving in this morning to the studio, and she said, listen, I'm looking at everybody's materials. Everybody says West Texas values. Everybody says conservative. She said, just about everybody says Christian and father. She said, you all are saying that. Help me decide. And I said, yes, that's true. And there's nothing wrong with that. Those are good things to have on your resume. I wouldn't vote for a candidate that didn't have or say those things. What is it? Every candidate says, I won't legislate from the bench. And that's good, but it doesn't help people make that decision. So we go to the next thing that distinguishes. And what I told her is I said, listen, there's a crime issue in Lubbock. We're growing. Crime rates are going up. You want a court that's going to address that issue fairly, and you want to have a judge that knows how to address crimes. Listen, for the past 17 years, I've been an assistant DA in Lubbock. I've been dealing with things that are people don't want to think about, that are ugly, that are nasty, that are dirty. I have sat on the other side of the table and looked at people that commit horrid crimes to and with each other right in the eye and have taken them on and have done what needs to be done to protect this county. There's a reason why my address isn't listed publicly. There's a reason when I take my daughter out or I go to the grocery store that I'm armed. And that's a price that I'm willing to pay. But what people have to ask themselves is, what have you done in your career to serve this community? Yes. Could I quit tomorrow and go into private practice and make 3 times the amount of money I do? Yeah. Instantly. And I would buy my kid a lot of new things and have a more comfortable life. But I couldn't go home and look at myself and feel the same way, because what I get to do on a daily basis makes where I live better. My loyalties are not for sale. I can't represent the interest of somebody that I don't believe in simply because they're paying me. And I think that is a distinction, and that's somebody that people are going to want on that bench.
Let's talk about crime in Lubbock, and something we had one of the county commissioners in, I think it was last week, and he was talking about, the jail situation and jails, the jail being crowded at times. And his thought was we need to see, cases moving quickly, moving a little bit faster through the courts in Lubbock. Is that something you would agree with? And how's a judge impact that, if at all?
Yeah, I've had several conversations with the sheriff about this, just not just as the campaign, but as my job. And yes, he's looking at, listen, we may have to add 1 or 2 pods onto the jail again, and that is an expense that we've got to think very seriously about. There are pressure relief valves that can be engaged, and one of them, like you said, is moving cases quicker through the criminal courts. When you look at the docket, I think I looked last week. By those criteria, there are 1,000, it's either 1,024, 1,094 pending cases in the 140th District Court. The way a judge can impact those is by, I think one of the candidates has talked about multiple booking of things. Judges do that all the time. Judges are like airlines. They double, triple, quadruple book, 4 or 5 trial set on Monday. Where I think the impact can be made is understanding the system, taking a very critical eye and making sure that attorneys on both sides follow the law when it comes to continuances. When there's listen, trials don't sneak up on anybody. We all know that they're on our docket. We all know that they're coming. And a lot of attorneys, get overwhelmed with the amount of work, and at the last second they come in there and say, well, both parties have talked, Judge, and we agree to a reset. Well, there's nothing in the Criminal Code of Procedure called a reset. You either have the procedure or the hearing or whatever, or one party files a motion for continuance. I think when a delay is needed, it is obvious. Now, I think it's very clear from the facts, and a judge says, okay, but to do it as a routine matter is not the best way to represent the public and move those things through. I think a judge can do that. I think a judge can also impact it by having communication with the attorneys and say, hey, we're 3 weeks out. Remember when you told me back in pretrial hearings that you were going to need an expert witness for this case? Do you have them lined up? Do you have their plane tickets bought? Are they on their way here? And making sure that those attorneys stand before the bench and say, yes, here's what I've done. So at the last second, you're not pulling the trigger and now scrambling around trying to find some case because you're going to waste a trial week and a jury's time and money.
Yeah. Tell folks how they can find out more information about you and your campaign, and give them that final pitch.
There's only about 1,000 ways to get a hold of me. You can reach me on my website at Tom Brummett, TOMBRUMMETT, 2 M's, 2 T's.com. I'm also on Facebook. I'm on Twitter. If you've received any of my campaign materials, or you look at those, there's my personal cell phone number on there. Give me a call, send me an email, just like I did with that nice lady that called me this morning. I'll answer any questions that I can because I want you to feel comfortable in your decision.
All right. Tom Brummett, candidate for the 140th District Court in the Republican primary. Early voting continues through Friday, and then March 3rd, that's Election Day. So get out and vote, folks. If you just stay home, you're not going to have a say in what happens. And this is going to be all these judicial races are very important. Tom, thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for giving me the opportunity. I really do appreciate it.
Absolutely.